From the Detroit Free Press, I'm Robin Chan with today's voice briefing. It's Thursday, February 15th, 2024.
I'm Frank Witzel with the Detroit Free Press. Marvin's Marvelous Mechanical Museum, a quirky suburban Detroit attraction, must find a new home after the Farmington Hills City Council unanimously voted Monday to allow the strip mall that it's in to be replaced by a new Meijer grocery store. This development is going to be a super thing for the city, Mayor Teresa Rich said, adding that she hopes the developer will find a new space for the museum, but we can't get in the way of a landlord-tenant matter. As for now, the museum said Tuesday it's still open and will remain so until at least December. For months, the controversial proposal roiled the community, especially those with fond memories of the museum, which features vintage arcade games. The issue came up first during a planning commission meeting in November. There was a groundswell for support for the museum, which more than 52,000 people signed an online petition seeking to convince the city to stop the development, calling the arcade an eighth wonder of the world. In the end, however, the museum supporters were disappointed they were unable to persuade the city to stop the redevelopment.
This is Detroit Free Press auto critic Mark Phelan. Take a close look at the 2025 Ford Explorer. A really close look. In what's becoming a tradition, Ford designers hid visual Easter eggs among the updates the family-hauling SUV will get when the new model goes on sale this summer. Ford designers like to pay tribute to the people and places where its vehicles are built and designed. For the Explorer, that meant sketches of the Detroit and Chicago skylines. But the sketches are in places that owners may never even notice, although the ones who do see them should appreciate them. Why Detroit and Chicago? The Explorer is developed and designed in the Detroit suburb of Dearborn. The factory that builds the SUV is on the south side of Chicago. Designer Paul Mutter took a few liberties with the recognizable skylines. Neither is the signature view from the city's waterfronts. Detroit is seen as if from Dearborn on the west side, while Chicago's skyline is from the south, not the lakefront on the north side. The sketches include signature landmarks you can't see from those perspectives. The mirrored bean in Chicago's Millennium Park and the towering Michigan Central train station in Detroit's bustling Corktown Tech and Entertainment District. Another sketch shows the silhouettes of all 6 generations of Explorers against a backdrop of mountains. If one of the silhouettes looks oddly familiar, stream the movie Jurassic Park tonight. It's the vehicle a T-Rex crushes in the first movie in the series.
I'm Andrew Burkle with the Free Press Sports Department. Jim Harbaugh said some downright crazy things when he was the head coach of the Michigan Wolverines. From Ted Lasso quotes to discussing his hatred for the nervous bird, aka chickens, Harbaugh was certainly not afraid to say a crazy thing or two. So last offseason, before the Wolverines ran the table for the perfect season and a national title, when Harbaugh said this Michigan football team could set the record for most players ever taken in a single NFL draft, it was chalked up as just another crazy Harbaugh proclamation. After all, the NFL draft is always dominated by the South, and more specifically, the Southeastern Conference. Think Alabama and Florida and Georgia, like the 2021 Georgia football team, for example, another team that won the title, that currently holds the record for most players selected in a single draft, with 15 Bulldogs taken in 2022. However, that record could very much be in danger after all. On Tuesday, it was announced that 18 players from the Michigan football team have been invited to the prestigious NFL Combine. That's where the sport's top talent goes to show off their speed and strength and agility and so much more to NFL teams. That means 1 out of every 19 players at the Combine, which is open to any player eligible for the NFL Draft, will be Wolverines. That is a lot of Wolverines at the Combine. While it's obviously very exciting for Michigan fans to see J.J. McCarthy and Blake Corum and so many others go to the next level, it's also a little bit bittersweet. Replacing that many players is not an easy task for anyone. Historically, losing that many players to the NFL has preceded a drop-off the next year. But Georgia proved in 2022 that's not always the case, when they won back-to-back championships even after losing all those players. Now, Michigan doesn't have the talent pool that Georgia does, and they also have to worry about replacing their head coach too. But don't look past the Wolverines just yet. They may be trying to find a new quarterback, but between tight end Colston Loveland, Kenneth Grant, Mason Graham, and Will Johnson, to just name a few of their stars, the Wolverines will be far from an easy out.
Find more from the Detroit Free Press on Freep.com. That's FREEP.com. Thanks for listening, and you'll hear more from us tomorrow.